Start with the national anthem.
Zoqala ngeculo lesizwe.
Can we stand up?
Singasukuma sonke.
Thank you very much. I think we can start now. Maybe let's start by introducing ourselves. Here we have got interpreters. Anybody can use any language and the interpreters are here.
Asisiqala siyaqhubeka kodwa ke ngiqale mhlambe sizethule qale la phakathi kwethu sinotolika njoba nisibona sila kusho ukuthi uvumelekile ukukhuluma ngolimi lwebele lizotolikwa liyesingisini.
We've got our officials there. If there are any written submissions, they can be taken to the table there.
Lapha kule tafula sinabasebenzi basephalamende uma ninezethulo ezibhalwe phansi mayelana nalo mthetho sivivinywa niyozethula lapha kuleli tafula.
Okay. So today what is going to happen, I will ask one of us here to explain the purpose of the day. My name is Jerome Make. I'm the chairperson of the Hoc Committee.
Ngingu Jerome Make ngusihlalo wekomiti leli ad hoc ngizocela uza kwethu asho ukuthi inhloso yosuku ukuthi sihlangene ngani namhlanje.
Sanbonani, igama ngingubheki.
Greetings.
Isibongo uHad.
Greetings, my name is Peggy, my surname is Hadeb.
Sanbonani, I'm Diane Kohler-Barnard. I'm a member of the Joint Standing Committee on Intelligence and this Hoc Committee. Thank you.
Greetings.
Sanbonani dumelang. Ngogama nguTebogo Lwate.
Greetings everyone, my name is Tebogo Lwate.
Thobela la ka lebitso ke Thabo wa ga Mmutle moleloko wa committee.
Greetings, I'm Thabo Motle.
Thank you very much. I will ask my colleague here to explain the purpose of the meeting.
Siyabonga kakhulu ngizocela uza kwethu kube uye ozosethulela inhloso noma injongo yalomhlangano namhlanje.
Thank you so much, Chair. As I've said, my name is Peggy Hadebe. We are an ad hoc committee on the General Intelligence Laws Amendment Bill.
Sibonge sihlalo njoba ngishilo ngathi ngubheki Hadebe si ad hoc committee lesikhashana elidingida umthetho noma umthetho sivivinywa noma ukuchibiyela umthetho olawulwa ezobunhloli jikelele.
We are a multi-party committee. Ngifuna nje ukucacisa lokho.
Siyi committee elikhandwe amaqembu ahlukahlukene. I need to spell that out clearly.
Okay. We are here because there are shortcomings in the intelligence services in our country.
Silapha ke namhlanje ngani ngoba kunokushoda okukhona lapha kwezobunhloli ezweni lethu.
And we are bringing to you a bill which seeks to address those shortcomings.
Sizothula ke kinina umthetho sivivinywa esuhlongoza ukuthi ubhekane ngqo uxazulule lezi lokhu kushoda okukhona.
If I were to take you to 2009, where the intelligence services were restructured using the presidential proclamation,
Uma nje ngasingabuyela kancane emuva ngo2009 la khona ezobunhloli ezweni zahlelwa kabusha ukubhekana nezobunhloli yileso sizathu ke senze ukuthi sibe namhlanje ukuthi sizolungisa lokho.
at the time we had the National Intelligence Agency, which was called NIA, and the South African Secret Services.
Ngaleso sikhathi sasino NIA siphinde sibe no South African Secret Services kwakuzinhlangano ezimbili zobunhloli ezweni.
Those two agencies were amalgamated into the State Security Agents, which is called SSA.
Lezo inhlaka ezimbili zahlanganiswa kwaba uhlaka olulodwa okuthiwa uSSA.
Now, that process of establishing SSA through a presidential proclamation was found to be irregular, meaning it was against the rules and the laws governing the country.
Ngakho ke lokuhlanganisa lezi inhlaka zomhloli kube uhlaka olulodwa kwatholakala ukuthi akulandelwanga imigomo ngokufanelekileyo engahambisani nomthetho sisekelo wezwe.
In terms of our South African Constitution, Section 199, it says the president can only establish intelligence services through a legislation.
Ngokomthetho sisekelo obusa izwe section 109 isigaba 109 uthi umengameli angalungisa ezobunhloli ngokuthi kushaywe umthetho.
It's Section 199.
Isigaba 199 ngiyaxolisa.
It must be noted that there were attempts for a legislative amendments to rectify this, but challenges as a result of amalgamation continued.
Asisho ukuthi yaba khona imizamo ukulungisa ngokomthetho ukuhlanganiswa kolezi inhlaka kodwa ke zaba khona izinselelo zaba khona ngokuphasa komthetho.
This led to President Ramaphosa establishing a high-level review panel on the state security agents in 2018.
Lokho ke kwenze ukuthi umengameli ophethe njengamanje uRamaphosa aqale ikomiti eliphakemeyo kuthiwa i-high level review panel ngo2018.
The panel made some recommendation and those recommendations were adopted.
Ipaneli ke yenza incomo ezithize lezo incomo ke zaphasa zemukelo.
Now the bill seeks to implement some of those recommendations.
Ngakho ke lo mthetho sivivinyo esiuletha la ufuna ukulungisa ukuphendula ngqo lezo zincomo lezo ezenziwa.
Including some of the Zondo Commission recommendation,
Ekunye kalapho okwangconywa incomo ezenziwa iZondo Commission.
including the Constitutional Court judgment on bulk interception.
Kanye futhi nesinqumo esathathwa inkantolo yomthetho sivivinywa okhuluma ngebulk interception kusho ukuthi kuntshontshwa kwe-information eningi.
That's why we are here today, because the main objectives of GLEP is to amend the National Strategic Intelligence Act
Yingakho ke silapha namhlanje ukuthi lo mthetho sivivinyo obizwa phecelezi ukuthi uGLEP ufuna ukuchibiyela umthetho olawula ezobunhloli ezweni.
siphinde sichibiyele ne-Intelligence Services Act,
Will also amend the Intelligence Service Act
siphinde sichibiyele ne-Intelligence Service Oversight Act.
and amend also the Intelligence Oversight Act.
Now, those amendments will achieve the following things. One, we want to undo the establishment of the State Security Agency.
Lezo ichibiyelo zizozuza lokho noma izosiholela la ukuthi sichithe
We want to undo the State Security Agency.
sifuna ukuqeda nge-State Security Agency.
And then establish the South African Intelligence Academy, which will focus on domestic and be responsible for counterintelligence and intelligence gatherings function.
Bese siletha uhlelo or can you repeat please? Let me just note it down.
Yeah, it's going to focus on domestic intelligence gathering.
Izoqela ukuqoqwa kwe-information ngaphakathi ezweni.
Siphinde establish a South African Intelligence Services responsible for foreign intelligence gathering.
Will also sophinde futhi sihlele uhlaka oluzoba khona oluzobe liqoqa ulwazi noma information ngezenzeka kwamanye amazwe ngaphandle ezweni.
We are also going to re-establish the South African National Academy of Intelligence, which will be responsible for intelligence training.
So phinde futhi senze i-academy noma isikhungo ezobe siqeqesha abantu abazobe besebenza ngezobunhloli.
Provide a legislative mandate for bulk interception.
Ezobanikeza igunya ukuvimba noma ukugwema ukuntshontshwa kwemininingwane noma ye-information yabantu noma yezwe.
Thina bantu abathanda ukusebenzisa social media, we're also going to provide for regulation for cyber security, protection of information and intelligence.
And those of us on social media who like to use social media, so phinde futhi kube nemithetho ezobe ilawula ukuthi i-cyber security noma ukuvikela information noma ulwazi kwezobuchwepheshe kuvikeleka kanjani imininingano yabantu lapha kwezobuchwepheshe.
Ngizamile ukuthi ngibe mfushane ukwenzela ukuthi sonke sibe nolwazi nje oluncanyana ukuthi ingani silapha namhlanje.
I tried to be brief in my introduction so that all of us get a glimpse of why are we here today.
Okwamanje ngizothatha ithuba ngilibuyisele kuye usihlalo asichazele ukuthi uma si participate sizosebenza kanjani. Over to you, Chair.
May I then take this opportunity to hand back to the chair who will give us the marching orders on how are we going to conduct the business of the day.
Thank you very much. I'm not very sure whether I did it the other way around. Should I have given our speaker a chance before we explain why we are here?
Anginaso isiqiniseko ukuthi ngenze ngenye indlela noma mhlambe ngabe ngiqale ukuthi siqale yena isikhulumi sethu sisho ukuthi sizeleni namhlanje.
Then we will ask the speaker of the municipality to give a word of welcome. If you could come up front for
So
the sake
cela
of...
usomlomo kamasipala ukuthi azosimukela eze la ngaphambili azosimukela.
Well, thank you, Chairperson of the Hoc Committee,
Ngibonge kakhulu sihlalo wekomiti lesikhashana lesiphalamende,
Mr. Make,
Babu Make,
and your team.
nethimba lakho.
And I'd like us also to greet the people who are supporting you, the supporting staff who have come with you here at Upangalo Municipality under Zululand District Municipality.
Ngibingelele nethimba lakho labasebenzi abazokweseka ukusebenza kwenu njengoba nilapha ke ophongolo.
I would like to greet all the members who are coming from various municipalities within the district municipality who have come here to congregate here so that they will hear what the committee, which is the Hoc Committee, is going to say to us as it has been explained the purpose of the meeting for today.
Ngiphinde ngibingelele bonke ke abamele umasipala abahlukahlukene abakhona lapha abazolalela kanye nathi ukuthi ngabe ikomiti lesikhashana ke lizothini mayelana nomthetho njengoba sekuchaziwe namuhla.
The workers who are coming from various municipalities who has also come up here to catch up the information so that they will be in a position of consolidating the information so that the information will be cascaded to the relevant stakeholders within Upongolo and other municipalities.
Ngiphinde ngibingelele nabasebenzi bomasipala abahlukahlukene balapho kuzocosha noma kuzocobelela ulwazi ukuze bakwazi ukuthi bachazele nemiphakathi ababuya kuyo.
Councillors who are coming from various municipalities, including Upongolo, I would like also to greet you for having attended this meeting here for such kind of a very much important meeting, which has the other committee is going to explain to you.
Ngiphinde ngibingelele wonke amakhansela akhona lapha ngokweindawo ngeindawo aphuma kuzo ngibonga ukuthi nifike nizolalela lokho kuzokwethulwa ikomiti namuhla.
Members of the ward committees from various municipalities who are also present here.
Amalungu amakomiti amawadi akhona khona lapha namuhla.
Izinduna zamakhosi who are also present here.
Izinduna of traditional leadership present in the house noba khona lapha endlini.
Well, Honorable Chairperson, I would like to say to you, yesterday we have been having here the same amendment bill, but it was with regard to education, which was regarded as Bella. So I've been here yesterday, which was led by the provincial legislature, so which we congregated such like this, and we had to give them the information as we have come here to allude to the same ad hoc committee presentation that you're going to give us here.
Ngizocela nje hlala ukusho ukuthi izolo besilapha futhi si nabo shamthetho bezosibikela ngomthetho sivivinywa nakhona okhuluma ngezemfundo ibhila nanamuhla ke siyathokoza ukuthi nikhona futhi sizozwa ukuthi ngabe nithini ngokomthetho sivivinywa wenu.
Oh, I have forgotten to also acknowledge and greet General Gonya, who is leading the cluster for the district here, who is also present, and the station commander of Upongolo municipality, who is also present here, who are assisting us. We are seated at the back.
Ngiphinde ngikhohlo ukwamukela umphathi steshi kanye nomphathi weqoqo ke lo masipala la khona la uMnumzana Vincent Gwe.
It's Mr. Gonya. Yes, and the station commander here at Upongolo.
Nomphathi steshi ke wakhona lapha station samaphoyisa sasophongolo.
Well, mine is just to welcome you, Honorable Chairperson, for having come here. So what I would like to say in terms of the presentation which was given to us as a purpose of the meeting, we will also urge, or rather request, make a very much great request, more especially to the intelligent, that we would love that the improvement of intelligence widely in South Africa must be improved. Because if I would say, Honorable Chairperson, we have got a number of killings that are happening within our province, within our districts, which are creating a very much problem to us. So the actual fact that we are going to get information from us, or rather, to give such kind of a bill is going to assist us on that one.
Ngiyabonga kakhulu ke okwami kulula nje ukuthi ngizonamukela ngiphinde ngamukele nekomiti sibonge ngiphinde ngibonge ke kusihlalo ngokuthi beze nalomthetho sivivinywa ngoba kukhona okungikhathaza kakhulu kakhulukazi kule ndawo esihlala kuyo kunezigameko ezikhulu zokubulawa kwabantu okuhlangene nezombusazwe ngakho ngicabanga ukuthi nasezweni lonke lokho kuyinkinga ngicabanga ukuthi ke lo mthetho sivivinywa uzokwazi usilekelela ukuthi sikwazi ukuthi sigweme noma sinqande lokho.
They are killing of councillors, killing of Zindona, killing of women and children. That is happening within our district.
Ukubulawa ke kwamakhansela, izinduna, omama noma besifazane kanye nabantwana okwenzekayo la ezweni lethu.
Recently, there is a councillor that has been assassinated around Nongoma. And that brutal killing also involved a child who was an innocent child who was just moving by and who was killed. So, which has given us a very much problem in this particular district.
Kusanda kubulawa nje ikhansela kaNongoma elibulawe ngesihluku esikhulu kanti futhi kwaphinde kwalimala noma kwalimala umntwana obekade ezidlulela njengahlangene nalesigameko.
I would like to say, kinina nonke, umphakathi wasophongolo, umphakathi wakonongoma, umphakathi wase Ulundu, umphakathi wase Frayet, umphakathi wase Dumbe, we have invited to come up here to support such kind of a bill. Ukuthi nonke ngoba nila nemukelekile zizweni sekhaya, though uphongolo is very much hot.
Ngizothanda ke ukuthi ngamukele ke ngiphinde ngicele umphakathi ke wakaNongoma umphakathi wakhona la uphongolo wasedumbe nomphakathi wasolundi okhona la ngizocela nizizwe namukelekile futhi nibambe iqhaza yize noma ke la uphongolo kushisa kakhulu.
You will pardon with me, Chairperson, maybe I will leave before you, because there are a lot of by-elections that are happening here around Pongola. As I speak, there is a ward up there, because I'm a ward councillor here where you are. I'm a ward councillor, this is Ward 10. So where I prepare you the space to come and address these people. So I never said you must pay anything, you must come up here, because this is a parliament that should come up here. We normally charge people to come and address us, but we said because it's a parliament, then we need to give you freely to come up and address us.
Ngizothanda ukuthi ngibike ukuthi ngizonishiya singakaqedi isihlalo ngoba kunokhetho olukhona olwenzekayo khona la endaweni kufanele ukuthi ngiyolibheka kodwa ke ngizothanda ukuthi nginamukele ngiphinde ngisho futhi ukuthi sinikezele indawo ngokukhulu ukukhuleka ngoba sizwa kuthiwa iParliament okujwayelekile kodwa siyasibakhokhisa abantu ukuthi basebenzele indawo kodwa ngoba niyiParliament sinikezile nje mahala.
I thank you.
Ngiyabonga kakhulu.
Thank you very much. I will then explain the procedures for making submissions.
Sibonge kakhulu ngizochaza ke inqubo ezolandelwa ukuze kwenziwe izethulo.
All contributions are significant and hold value.
Zonke ke izethulo ezokwenziwa zibalekile futhi ziyigugu kakhulu kithi.
However, to enhance the overall process, we kindly ask all participants to adhere to a specific protocol.
Kodwa ke ukuze uhlelo lwethu luhambe ngendlela ehlelekile ngizocela ukuthi bonke abazobamba iqhaza balandele ke indlela yokwenza ebekiwe.
If you wish to submit, please raise your hand.
Uma ngabe ufuna ukuthi ubeke uvo lwakho sicela uphakamise isandla.
Raised hands will be acknowledged and assigned a unique number.
Izandla ke ziphakamisiwe zizokwamukelwa bese ke zinikezwa inombolo.
A maximum of 10 participants will be accommodated in each round to ensure smooth proceedings.
Ihlandlo nehlandlo ke lizonikeza abantu abayishumi ukuthi bakwazi ukubeka izimvo zabo ukuze konke kuhambe ngendlela ehlelekile.
And they will sit, as you see, there are 10 chairs here.
Bazohlaliswa kanjani bona ke ihlalo lezi ezibekiwe lapha phambi kwenu.
Upon receiving your assigned number, please take a seat in the designated chairs according to the numerical order.
Uma ngabe sowunikeziwe ke inombolo yakho socela ukuthi uhlale ke esihlalweni obekelwe sona nilandelane ngokwezinombolo.
Each participant is allotted 3 minutes to present their submission in a language of their preference.
Umuntu ngamunye ke obeka uvo lwakho unikezwe isikhathi esiyimizuzu emithathu ngolimi lwakhe lwebele.
Participants with written submissions are encouraged to submit them to the secretariat team, which is that table.
Abaphethe ke izethulo ezibhaliwe bayacela ukuthi bazinikeze ithimba lonobhala elikhona la kuleli tafula.
The Hoc Committee wishes to thank everyone present for taking the time to take part in this public participation process on the GILAP, and your input will contribute to a well-balanced and thoroughly consulted law that seeks to improve South African intelligence services.
Ikomiti ke lesikhashana leli likhona la lithanda ukunibonga kakhulu ngokuthatha isikhathi senu sokuthi nize lapha nizokwenza izethulo ngoba izethulo zenu zizosilekelela kakhulu ekutheneni sibe nomthetho ohlelekile nobhekelela zonke izinhlaka eziphathelene nezomhloli ezweni.
Thank you very much. I think we can now take hands.
Ngiyabonga kakhulu sesingaqala ke sikhombe abazophakamisa izandla abazokwenza izethulo.
Surely we expect some hands.
Ngiyathemba ukuthi kukhona abafisa ukubeka izethulo umthetho sivivinywa. Sizocela baphakamise izandla ukuze sibakhombe.
Number 1, surely it can't be only one person.
Ngicabanga ukuthi angeke kuzobe ukuthi umuntu oyedwa kuphela ofisa ukubeka izethulo noma uvo lwakhe.
Otherwise, I will appoint the speaker as number 2.
Okay, mangenjalo ngizocela okade samukele oyisikhulumi samasipala ukuthi abe wesibili ozokhuluma.
Any hands?
Ngabe zikhona ezinye izandla noma bafisa ukukhuluma?
Okay, maybe after the first input, people will start raising hand. We only have 2.
Mhlambe ke emva kwa laba babili abazokhuluma asebekhethiwe abantu bazoqala baphakamise izandla.
So the speaker will be number 2.
Usho ukuthi ke usomlomo yena uzoba owesibili. Greetings.
Igama lami nguZamokuhle ngwakamotha.
My name is Zamokuhle Mota.
I'm from the African National Congress kule constituency yasePongola.
Ngiyilungu le African National Congress. Oh, I'm a member of the ANC in Upongolo.
Yes. Chairperson ngicela into eyodwa ukuthi ngoba ngathi abantu bathule nje kuyabanda. Ukuthi kube beningasithatha through ukuthi what is contained kule lokhuzana kule ithule niza nazo bese ke mase ngenelela manje nje ngoba asazi ukuthi yini ekhona uzothi ugwenje yeah.
Maybe, Chair, I think people are quiet because they don't really know what is contained in the bill. Maybe if you can take us through what is actually contained in the bill, maybe they might just say something towards it because they don't know, they don't have an idea as to what is contained in the bill.
Nami nje angazi ukuthi ngizowuthini ngiyabonga ngizokuphakamisa ama-sector.
I also don't know what to say, but maybe I'll raise my hand when I do understand what needs to be said.
Thank you very much.
Siyabonga kakhulu.
I thought when we started, we explained what the purpose of the bill is. And even the speaker made an input of some sort into the bill itself. And I think according to processes, Parliament should have done that before we come here. We are under the impression that that has been done.
Ekuqaleni bengicabanga ukuthi ke sicacisile ukuthi sizeleni la kanti futhi ke no somlomo naye uphinde waba namazwi awabekile ngokomthetho njengeParliament siza la ngoba sesazi ukuthi konke lokhu ekukhulunywa ngako nobe kade kukhulunywa lo bekhuluma kusuke sekwenziwe abantu basuke sebenokuqonda ukuthi sizeleni la nje wasiyiParliament.
Otherwise, between a hard place and a rock, I wouldn't know how to deal with this. Then I will put the speaker under the bus. Maybe he will try and explain some of these things in his input. Speaker?
Njengamanje ngicabanga ukuthi sibhekene nengwadla enkulu kodwa ke ngizobeka ke usomlomo ke phambili ukuthi kube uye ozosichazela mhlawumbe ke noma uzokwazi uthatha into kuloko esidinga ukuthi sikuthole emphakathini uma ngabe esezokwenza isethulo sakhe la manje. Somlomo.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, thank you. Well, Honorable Chairperson, what I would say, as the latter speaker has said, Honorable Mota is a councillor at Upongolo Municipality.
Sihlalo njoba nje engakusho mina njoba deseshilo no mhlonishwa uMotha njoba nje naye ikhansela khona la emphakathini.
What happened, maybe he's trying to relate what happened yesterday on our chairperson, whereby the portfolio committee for education that was here. So they came up here with that kind of a bill, which is an amendment, which has amended. So there were certain sections in terms of the clause of the laws that they said in terms of clause, maybe 24 clause of amendment that states about this in terms of this, the intelligence law. We have amended, and now as the other committee, this is what we are coming to the people to consider or not to consider it. So that is why he says maybe the purpose of the meeting that was explained by the latter speaker with regard to your presence here, maybe might be because this document which has provided us that has containing the amendment. So they were thinking that there might be something that written. So where you will have to be in a point of showing that amendment clause, this clause has been changed, then the community will have to look at that on whether they agree or they do not agree on that one. Because on my point of view, I would say, with regard to the intelligence, because we understand intelligence work hand in hand with the services, the security service of the state. This is one of the security services of the state.
Bengihlalo njoba de kukhuluma isikhulumi esikhulume phambelini njoba kade kukhona ke lokho abathi portfolio committee ebikhona izoleze emfundo iyona inqubo eyilandelile kuba ukuthi basichazele iphakamiso neziphakamiso lezichibiyelo ezokwenziwa kulomthetho ade befike ngawo izolo besilindele ukuthi ke nalapha nje wasinikezwe lembhalo njengabantu besilindele ukuthi mhlawumbe ke nekomiti lizolandela inqubo efanayo ngoba siyazi ukuthi ezobunhloli zixhumene kakhulu nezokuphepha jikelele ngakho kubalekile ukuthi sibe nezethulo ezizenzayo kodwa njengamanje bekade silindele ukuthi sizothola leyo nqubo ezolandelwa.
Yes, Honourable Chairperson, the collaboration of the Secretary of State, more special, which I think Honourable Chairperson was going to be explained to this community with regard to the police service operations, the like the Hawks, like the people who are working in line with the intelligence. How do they work together? Because sometimes you'll find, Honourable Chairperson, that there is a police services then. So officially, they will be in a position of getting information, intelligence from other people that there is something that is going to happen on a certain point, or on a certain point, or in a certain place, of which they have been given information by the intelligence. How the workability that one is going to happen.
Besicabanga ukuthi mhlambe ke kuzoba nezincazelo ezonikezwa umphakathi ukuthi mhlambe ke ezokuphepha njengamaphoyisa kanye noRebe noma ama-Hawks basebenza kanjani emphakathini ukuze uma ngabe mhlambe kungaba nezingozi ezingaba khona endaweni ezithizeni ngekhathi ezithize kukwazi ukuthi ezobunhloli sheshe zikuthole lokho ngokuthi kubikeke besithi mhlambe ke umphakathi uzochazelwa ngento ezifana nalezo ukuze ukwazi ukuthi nawo ubeke ufo lawo.
Yes, I think that is the thing which I wanted to say, Honourable Chairperson, and also how would these people who are behind me be motivated in terms of engaging themselves, in terms of learning as to if you wanted to become a party to this law enforcement with regard to intelligence, how are they going to be assisted? More special, there are those people who wanted to learn more special as to how can they get into that one. We understand that one will have to go to the institution of higher learning, but then what is it that this other committee is going to assist them? Because we have heard through the son of the president by saying he's increasing the number of police services by 10,000 and others. But we never heard about the increasing of the number of people who are engaging with regard to with the intelligence as of now. So we don't know who are those. Yes, we know the one who was given prior, the one who's staying at Upongodo, which is the Honorable Mashobo. Before, the other one was appointed who was responsible for this intelligence then, as to how are we going to quell such kind of a situation.
Njengomuntu komelela abantu abala emva kwami bomphakathi bengifisa futhi ukuthi sikwazi ukuthi sithole noma sinikezwe imininingwane ukuthi ngabe abantu uma ngabe befuna ukuzibandakanya ukubamba iqhaza kwezobunhloli bangangena kanjani kulomkhakha ngoba siyazi ukuthi khona kuyakufanele ukuthi uyofunda ezikhungweni zemfundo ephakeme kanti futhi sizwile nomengameli wezwe ngenkathi ethula isona ethi nyuswa isibalo samaphoyisa azobuthwa ayizinkulungwane ezintathu. Kanti siyazi ukuthi kwakhona ke umhlonishwa uMahlobo owayewakhona khona la endaweni. Kanti okhona njengamanje noma singamazi kodwa siyazi ukuthi kuzoba khona isidingo sokuthi kube khona nesifiso sokungena kulomkhakha wezobunhloli ukuthi ngabe bangangena kanjani ukuze babambe iqhaza.
Yes, thank you. I thank you.
Ngiyabonga kakhulu ileso isethulo sami sihlalo.
I was getting some advice here, and my understanding is that Parliament was here and that to do exactly what people are asking for, and I will need to be advised how to continue from here.
Bengisazama ukuthola isiluleko la ukuthi senze njani senze lokho esijwayele ukwenza njengeParliament noma senze lokho ekucelwa umphakathi njengamanje. So ngisazama ukuthi ngithole lokho caciseleka ukuze sizoqhubeka.
But if I was to give an example of the other public participants that we did in some other provinces, which is where we already did Limpopo, Gauteng, and Western Cape.
Uma ngenza nje isibonelo ukuthi kwenzakale kanjani kwamanye ama-hearings esibe nawo eLimpopo nase-Gauteng nase-Free State.
No, Western Cape.
Oh, sorry, no Western Cape.
What would happen is that as the first speaker, when he introduced the purpose of the meeting,
Okwenzakala ukuthi uma okhuluma uqala ethula ukuthi injongo yomhlangano ithini.
people will come up with their inputs and say things like, we would like the bill to include a question of maybe we've got a problem of foreign nationals that are all over South Africa, and maybe, as the speaker said, the killing.
Umuntu uzothi maqedwa ku introduce noma kwethula injongo sezosukuma ke ilunga lomphakathi lithi besizofisa ukuthi umthetho sivivinywa uphinde uede nokuthi njengoba sinenkinga yabantu bavela kwamanye amazwe abakhona la ezweni ukuthi izoxazululeka kanjani. Omunye mhlambe athi njengalokho kusho uspeaker ukuthi kunokubulawa kwabesifazane kubulawe ko so politiki kanjalo kanjalo.
So I'm just afraid if we start doing that, then it means it's as if it's our own input. And what we are here for is to get the inputs from the citizens.
Engikusabayo ukuthi bese ngisho mina ukuthi khulumane ngalokho ngani ngoba lokho kwenza kube ngazuthi imibono yethu leyo. Kanti njengoba thina sila njengeParliament sijutshwe ukuthi sizozwa imbono yenu ukuthi nina nithini.
So I think that is only fair. The inputs, even if they are not specific, general inputs can be given, which are going to be consolidated into a report. And maybe from the report, we will take those that are directly related to the bill itself.
Besingathi ke noma ke imbono enishoyo mhlambe ingabe saqondene ngqo nomthetho sivivinyelo kodwa mithinta nje ezokuphepha leyo mbono sesobe sesilalela siyishicelela phansi sesobe iba ingxenye yohla noma lomqingo ezokhipha njengesethulo ukuthi besihlangene nani.
So after having explained that, I will need hands. If there are no hands, we will start row by row.
Njengoba sengichazile senzocela niphakamise nezandla. Uma ningaphakamisa izandla, hayi sezohamba ngoline bazalwane.
I see a hand there, one, another hand,
Khona isandla
two,
ngisibonayo nasi sesibili,
and then three,
esesithathu,
4,
sesine,
5,
hlanu,
6,
isithupha lapha emuva,
6. You can come forward.
sondela mfowethu wesithupha,
6, 'Where do I get 7?
ngiyamthola wesikhombisa,
7, 8,
verse 8,
where do I get my number 9?
ngiyamthola wesi9,
Okay. I think we can start.
hayi sesingaqala. Ngiyabonga mfethu. Sure, ngiphethe pen. Sure.
Ngicela ukuqala ngokubingelela nje bonke abakhona endlini ihambeli zethu ubuholi bethu basophongolo nabo bonke abakhona endlini.
May I start by greeting everybody present, our guest, the leadership here in Pongolo, and everybody in the house.
Igama lami ngingumary wakwaNcube eNtshangase,
I am Mary Ncube Ntshangase.
ilunga lala eNcotshane.
I'm a resident here in Ngotshane.
Nakuba umbuzo wami uzongabheka kunina owokuqala, ngine concern yokuthi sesikubona kuyenzeka kuyalandelana ukuthi kufike inhlanga ezizosilekelela zibe kulo leli holo kodwa kutholakala ukuthi abantu abekho mhlawumbe angazi ukuthi iza kanjani into yokuthi kwaziseke umphakathi ngoba njengamanje nifuna nemibuzo imibuzo ayiveli ngicabanga sengathi abantu bebengakwazi imibuzo abekho kule ndawo.
My concern is there is so much structures of government that come to us here to address and help us with many issues, but it's like there is a lack of public awareness because it's like people that come here can't contribute. So I don't know how we can actually spread the awareness to get people who will contribute to whatever is discussed.
Siyabonga futhi nencazelo esisenze sathu kusukuma.
We also appreciate the explanation that just came for us to stand up now.
I-concern yami ke nanjengomhlali wase South Africa nowasophongolo
And as a South African resident and particularly here in Pongola,
into yokuthi sine number of people abaphuma ngaphandle
we have a number of foreigners in this area
esihlala nabo la endaweni okwenza ukuthi ugcina usubona izingane zakhona zingakwazi ukuya ezikolweni kube ziyafuna ukuya ezikolweni.
those unregistered foreigners, some of them have children and they want to go to school, but unfortunately they're not part of our schooling system.
Nginento ethi lezi ngane zigcina ihlala emakhaya zingakwazi ukuvuka ziye ezikolweni kanti ziyabanye babantu abalethe umnotho eSouth Africa bayathenga bedayise khona la ezweni lethu.
Yeah, these children that never get the chance to go to school, they are part of the economic activity in our country. They sell and they buy stuff like everyone.
Umbuzo wami uthi emthethweni sisekelo ayikho yini into yokuthi ngoba labantu baye bezale ingane zingakwazi ukuregisteka, ayikho into yokuthi as much as bengama foreigners kube ne system yokuthi phela nabo be recognizewe, noma ngabe I system entsha iyobe isho ukuthi bayakwazi ukuthi bevele nanjengabantu abanama birth certificate but ku identify ukuthi ababona abala eSouth Africa ukuze kuzokwehla izinga leingane ezithe ezinye ziseyikolweni ezinye zibe zehla zenyuka la drobheni zibhizi iphethe itiluli ngoba nginento ethi nazo zinamalungelo as much as zingasi South Africa but banalo ilungelo lokuthi bekwazi ukuyocosha imfundo.
My problem is documentation of these foreigners. Some of them, their children, because of lack of documentation, they don't get the chance to go to school. When our children are going to school, they're loitering around and they're selling some steel wools around town. My request then is that, is there not a way that we can document these people to state that they are not citizens, but they are in the country, so that their children will also get the opportunity to go to school?
Angisho ukuthi besiphangise o 350 bethu noma o 510 rand kodwa ngine concern nje yokuthi nabo aba recognize nanjengabantu abaphilayo ukuze bezokwazi ukuhlomula nje at least kwi education yethu noma ngabe ama birth certificate abo ayobe chaza ukuthi ungumeri wakwaNcube kodwa owezwela ngaphandle ukuze ngezukwazi ukuhlomula kwimali ye grant nemali mhlambe ye pension yezalukazi.
I'm not saying they should begin to compete with us in our welfare grants, but I'm saying let them be documented so that they may be able to benefit from our education system.
Ilo umbuzo wami ngiyabonga.
That is my question. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Siyabonga kakhulu.
Okay, ngiyabonga. Ngiphinde ngibingelele igama lami nguzama okuhle ngwakamotha.
Greetings again. My name is Zamoguhle Mota.
Ngibingelele uchairperson namalunga eParliament onke.
Greetings to Chair and all the members of Parliament.
Leadership yakamasipala lido speaker ubaba KE Nxumalo.
Municipal leadership led by Speaker Mr. K. Nxumalo.
Ama officials onke ama departments ngokuhlukana kwawo ngibona umama Mthembu lapha ku social development.
All the officials from different departments.
Umphathi station wasophongolo umama Mbongwa.
Station Commander Mama Mbongwa
Ubaba Gonya General Gonya kwi district yethu.
and General Konya in our district.
Nawo wonke kama ward committees nomphathi okhona sanibingelela.
All the ward committees and the community at large present, I greet you.
Mina inkinga yami enginayo into yokubloka kwama IDs abantu.
Mine would be to bring your attention to the blocking of people's IDs.
Ngiyajabula nje kakhulu ngike ngafunda iNewspaper la bekuvela khona ukuthi cishe abantu abathile bayithathile bayise enkantolo iDepartment of Home Affairs ukuthi awa unblock ku unconstitutional ukwenza njalo.
I'm happy that I read in the newspapers that some people took the Department of Home Affairs to the court to say it's unconstitutional to block people's IDs.
Ngoba omunye uthola ukuthi benginayo iID le ibhuku mase ngithi ngiyoapply iSmart ID uthola ukuthi bathi ke hayi ngathi khona izinto ezingahambi kahle bese ke izinto zami ziyama ama matric certificate yonke izinto nje zivele zimi.
With some people, one would have a green bar ID book, and when you convert to the Smart ID, they tell you there is some issues with your ID number. They block your ID, and that nullifies your accounts, your matric certificates, and everything that you have in your name.
Sumbutho wabantu siphinde sisupport wonke ama Africans ala legal ngaba ama asylum seekers na wonke umuntu nje okhona eSouth Africa ukuthi ke akangahlukunyezwa akahlale ngokuphepha njengoba iUnited Nations isho.
As the people movement, we support and we protect everyone in our country, foreigners, asylum seekers. We say they shouldn't be isolated or alienated according to the dictates of the United Nations.
Yes, sabona. Bese kuba ke into yokuthi uke wayithinta honorable speaker ke inxumalo la. Into yokubulawa okuba amakhosi induna ukufa kweinduna manje sekudlange kakhulu.
Another thing highlighted by the speaker, KE, he said the killings of traditional leaders, especially izinduna, it's really skyrocketing.
Yes, kuphinde kuba amakhansela nakho kubanga umlokhuza mase kunomkhundla wezibanga ukubonakala ukuthi kungenzeka ngene ngidutshulwe yabona.
And so is the killing of councillors and candidate councillors. Such people are being killed.
Bese uthi uyobika ke laphana estation bethi ke yiza nobufakazi ngizoza kanjani nobufakazi mhlambe size umuntu gcine sidubuleka manje.
Whenever you open a case, you are requested to bring evidence. And how am I going to bring such evidence required? And that exposes us to being shot.
Sebo. Siyazi ngokomthetho lokhuzana umasipala ukuthi those who are entitled to be guarded kuba mhlambe mayor, deputy mayor, or speaker. Thina abanye lokhu kuthiwa hayi no engathi ubufakazi obulethayo abanele.
According to municipal laws, it's only the mayor,
Deputy
the
mayor.
deputy mayor and the speaker who receive protection. The rest of us, even if you say your life is at risk, they say no, there's not enough evidence.
Besicela ukuthi mhlambe iportfolio committee ithi kuyibhekisisa leyo nto ukuthi wonke umuntu akazi savikelekile ubukhosi bethu beyathekwa induna I mean nomphakathi nje in general now uthi ugangile kuthiwa ubufakazi bakho ngathi abanele lezo zinto. Ngiyabonga.
We request that the portfolio committee do look at the security of elected officials, traditional leadership and the community at large. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bonga.
Angibingelela uhlalo ne-committee
Greetings, Chair and the committee
and nobuholi obukhona bomkhandlu obula endlini bona kumphakathi.
and the municipal leadership and the community present.
Okhulumayo uNhlanhla Sibonga kwaMoloyi.
I am Tantla Moloi.
Yeah. Perhaps sihlalo mhlambe ngizoqala ngithi okubalekile one as abahlalo South Africa owamalungu omphakathi.
As members of the community or
We
residents of
do
South Africa.
support the outcome of a high level panel, review panel
Yeah, we
on intelligence structures.
Siyayisekela i-high level review panel kulezi okuhlola kobunhloli.
One, isihlalo yakutshela ukuthi into review is generally needed emsans.
Because we are fully aware that the intelligence services in our country is
Njengoba
dead.
ikutshela ukuthi the amendment of two structures, it clearly indicates ukuthi it did not work.
Because we can see the amalgamation of two structures, ukuhlanganiswa kwalezi inhlaka ezimbili akusebenzanga, it did not work.
One of the good example, Chair, that are currently facing, in all cases, enzakala la, iKwaZulu Natal, babulawa abantu beshilo zakwethu, no speaker shilo ukuthi bayabulawa abantu kufa abantu amakhansela, amakhosi, induna.
As the speaker has alluded, there's a lot of killings in our country, traditional leaders, elected officials, councillors, they're being killed.
Mhlambe umunye umbuzo uzozibuza wona ukuthi uma zenzeka lezi zinto isuke kubi intelligence.
And then one would ask himself that if such things happen, where is the intelligence services?
Ngoba eyethi inkolelo ukuthi kunoma yipi province noma yipi district you do have intelligence services to ensure ukuthi ama issues of crime noma ngabahlobo lo crime alandeleka amanye ayakwazi ukunqandeka before enzeka.
Because we believe in every province and every locality there should be intelligence services so that they may be able to prevent and catch up those that are committing criminal activities.
Currently sihlalo ngiyakutshela ukuthi I'm not saying ukuthi ayikho, I don't want to conclude to say ukuthi you don't have it, but it tells you ukuthi currently siyalandela semuva enzeka ama incident and then we react.
I'm not saying it's non-existent at all, but what I'm saying is that currently at this point in time, they are following behind, they're not on par, which is what is happening in our communities.
Maybe ke, as per the recommendation of the panel chair, yokuhlukanisa these two structures, mhlawumbe will then assist us. Ukuthi sazi ukuthi one, you'll have a foreign intelligence to focus on foreign issues.
Siyakholwa sihlala ukuthi separating the structures for domestic and foreign will help us with the specialized focus.
And also ube domestic structures, intelligence structure, ezokwazi then to deal with domestic issues. But the question is, Chair, while we then support the issue of amendment, it's a issue of capacity that must be addressed. Because they're going to assist us to say, let's unbundle what was done at that particular time, but let's build these two structures, but single consideration, the issue of capacity for both structures.
I support the amendment, but I also submit that there should be capacity building for domestic and for foreign, because capacity is the integral part in this.
And mhlambe sihlalo sengcina okuzobaleka the issue of roles between those two structures.
In my conclusion, imisebenzi in kulama lezi inhlaka ezimbili fanele icaciswe ngokusobala.
So we want to make a strong appeal ukuthi it must be clearly defined, Chair, so that we don't end up having problems. Because the only challenge that we have in South Africa, we will have these good bills, but at some point it lacks to find its expression when it comes to implementation. Hence, expression, to implement. Hence, I'm saying we start with the school mangaule. So first of all, be clear ukuthi nationally to provinces. So that when we say we have a domestic intelligence structure that functions from national to provinces, we understand the roles of these structures. So that as umphakathi sazi ukuthi siyazi in terms of umthetho yini role yayo. So when you complain, sazi ukuthi manje siyazi isihlalo. So that would be my input, Chair. Thank you very much.
Yeah, my input is a clear definition of roles and the implementation thereof, because that is our greatest struggle in the country right now, in summation. So, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Siyabonga.
Ngaleleke igama ngokuthaba ngokwantshangase lapha eFilidi.
Greetings, my name is Thabo Ntshangase from Fried.
Yes. Ngiqhamuka emkhandlweni wabaqulusi la ngiyimamba khona yekomiti lewadi engiheada khona iportfolio ye-youth. So nginezicelo
I'm from Abaqulusi municipality. I have these few requests.
yes. Nginezicelo zokuthi emthethweni yonke eshicilelwayo ngicela ukuthi babuye basibhekelele kakhulu thina njengentsha ngenxa yeingqinamba esibhekana nazo.
My request is that in all the laws passed, let those laws also be considerate of the youth.
Yes. Ngicabanga ukuthi ngihleli kwi-portfolio ye-youth ebaqulusini ngiphinde ngibe lapha kwi-creative industry kwa-safe sala ngiheada khona i-portfolio yakwa-art education and training.
I lead the youth portfolio in my municipality, and I also head the portfolio of training and arts industry.
Yes. So nginokubuka ukuthi ngicela ukuthi kuyo yonke imithetho nayo uma kungenzeka mhlawumbe ugovernment asicabangele ngendaba yama art development centers ngoba ngokubuka kwami ugebengu obuningi buvela kwi-youth whereas insizwa ze youth ukuthi mhlambe lokho abacabanga noma bakufisayo uthola ukuthi akwenzeki kuze ku result ekutheni bangene ezidakamizweni okuyizona ezigcina ziba I mother of crime.
My request is that in every law that we pass, it should talk to the needs and the frustrations of the young people because they are the biggest contributor or participants in crime. Because when their needs are not being addressed or serviced, then they resort to crime.
Angibongeke.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Anginibingelele igama lami ngeulindani ngwakwaDlamini epasini kuvela uNkosi.
Greetings, my name is Lindani Dlamini, but on my ID, I'm registered as Nkosi.
Mina ke ngisukuma neziphakamisa ngazi noma kuzoba iziphakamiso noma imbono.
Mine, I'm not sure whether it's submissions or it's just views.
INingizimu Afrika uma uqhathanisa namanye amazwe ke ngithi ngomakhelwane kakhulukazi wona lawa la eNingizimu Afrika ngibona ngathi salele emuva kwezokuqinisa komthetho wokungena nokuphuma ezweni.
When you compare South Africa with our neighboring countries here in SADC, I think we are lagging behind, especially when it comes to control of migration.
Kunelinye namanye amazwe noma uzokwakhumula nje ngamagama awo uma ungena emazweni abo bayaqinisekisa ukuthi uclean ake ngithi nje uclean awunazi noma uma ungena bayokuthatha bekwenzise noma bakudlulise emanzini afaka ama chemicals ukuqinisekisa ukuthi uma ungena izifo osuke nazo awudluleli nazo kwamanye amazwe. Ngiyafisa nala eNingizimu Afrika kube nezinto ezikanjalo eziqinisekisa noma ezibeka ukuphepha kwabantu phambili.
Other countries, when at their border gates, there is like vetting through some chemicals where they check that you're not carrying some diseases or viruses into their country, who are foreign into their country. And nothing of that nature is happening in our country right now.
Bese kuba ngizobiza ke lelizwe leli ngoba vele lokho kusedlangala leni.
I'll make mention of this particular country because it's common cause.
Kunezwe iNigeria baziwa kakhulu ngokuthi bathatha ama drugs bawalethe eNingizimu Afrika kodwa eNingizimu Afrika kubukeka ngathi abakunakile lokho ngibuka ukuthi kusibulalela noma kubulala intsha yala eNingizimu Afrika na wonke nje umuntu osebenzisa izidakamizwa.
It's on the ground everywhere that particularly this country of Nigeria, they are the biggest distributors of drugs in our country. But it looks like South Africa as a government is not actually taking any necessary actions to protect our young ones who are victims of such.
Bese ngiphinde ngibuya khona la ekhaya kunamanye amazwe ngomakhelwane ngizobhekisa nje oZimbabwe no Mozambique bake bangene la eNingizimu Afrika bafike bazenzele ke ngithi emgodini le yamamayini angasasebenzi bafike benze leyo nto le ukubha igolide ukuthi angazi ukuthi balithatha belise baphinde balidayise kuphi. Ngifisa ukuthi ngathi umthetho waseNingizimu Afrika ungayibuke noma ungayibukeza lezo zinto ezikanjalo nalabo abantu abadayiselwa lawo magolide lawo ke bezame ukuthi bajeziswe noma kuvalwe nje ngezinto ezikanjalo ukuze umnotho waseNingizimu Afrika uyogcinela eNingizimu Afrika.
You look at how we handle some of our neighbors, particularly from Zimbabwe and from Mozambique. They come to these closed mines and they begin to do some illegal mining there, illegal operations there. Whatever they come out with, they sell it. There's a market for that. And how I wish that our government would actually tighten the laws so that there is no sale of those products, obviously through the black market, that they mine from there. Our laws should be helping us in that regard.
Ngiyaqonda kahle kamhlophe ukuthi imayini isuke zingasasebenzi kodwa uma sebeganga kuba inkinga yala eNingizimu Afrika kuba ngathi umthetho noma uganga kuningi la eNingizimu Afrika uma uzokuqhathanisa namanye amazwe ngenxa yokuthi sesibaningi kakhulu futhi bayakuthanda ke nokuvakashela noma nokuza la eNingizimu Afrika.
I understand those minds are closed, but when the problem is out of control, it becomes a national problem. So then my recommendation would be, let's rather stop it so that it doesn't become our problem.
Bese kuba ungena nokuphuma kwabantu abasuka emazweni angaphandle. Lokho ke ngifuna ukuyibuka la kunabantu abafika la abagange nje bengifunda izindaba ke ngithi nokulandela unamakhasi engiwalandelayo la ku Facebook kunokulunye nje udaba seliphumile oluthi kuna ngeke ngilibalekele lizwe ngeke ngisho ukuthi basuka sebathathe 800,000 rand kwenye inkampani. So lokho uma ngathiwa impela asikunakile siyiningizimu Afrika siyogcina sesingasenalutho sesifana nawo lamazwe ngoba uma ubuka iningizimu Afrika ngicabanga ukuthi isasengconywana ikakhulukazi kusukela nje kwezezimali ngizokubiza ngokuthi currency yaseningizimu Afrika isasengconywana kunalawa amanye
I was
amazwe.
reading somewhere from some Facebook page where a foreigner defrauded a company about 800,000 or so, and it's government that's supposed to protect us or prevent these people, because if you don't, our economy is gonna be downgraded, be as bad as other local, neighboring countries, because I believe our currency and our economy is still better than our neighbors at this point.
Yebo ngicabanga ukuthi uma ngathiwa nje isishaya umthetho no mengameli ngoba ngeke ngafunda incwadi le yakuthiwa umengameli nayo bambe noma odlala indima enkulu ekwenzeni lezo noma iqinisekiseni ukuthi umthetho ngabe usebenza ngokufanele yini. Ngicabanga ukuthi uma ngathiwa basebenzisana ngendlela besiqedele ngayo yonke lento le izwe lethu lingaba lihle kakhulu.
Then mine is that the laws that is passed should talk to that, and I understand those laws are passed in conjunction with the president. So let those offices work together to pass those laws to benefit and protect our country. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Siyabonga.
Siyabonga sihlalo siyabingelela sibingelela ad hoc committee sibingelele all protocol observed in fact.
Thank you, Chair. Greetings at ad hoc committee and nonke siyanibingelela.
Okokuqala mhlawumbe umuntu akazi introduce ngosiboniso ngakazi bani from this ward 2.
I'm Siboniso Zibane from Ward 2 in this area.
I contribution yami izoba kulokho okokuqala ke sibonge I ad hoc committee and the current administration. One ngokuthi to do away ngalento intelligence service ngalezi izathu ezintathu.
I want to appreciate the ad hoc committee for doing away with the current law and propose this amendment with the following reasons.
Intelligence service. They failed to take us to confidence. One, during the July unrest.
The current intelligence service didn't, take us into confidence about the July unrest. Abasazi sanga ngokuthi uthuthuva lango July lalisuka phi lenzeka kanjani.
There was a Lady R ship that was suspected of loading weapons to Russia, and the state and its citizens, we felt threatened because that information or that accusation should put us in danger.
Siphinde futhi kube nodaba le Lady R okumkhumbi esikholelwa ukuthi wawuzothenga ikhali la ezweni lethu eMzansi, kodwa asitshelwanga thina lokho. Siyakholwa ukuthi lokho kwakusifaka engozini njengezakhamizi zase South Africa.
Number 3, there was an accusation or allegations of explosives or bombs that was deployed in Sentin. The whole country was shaken, but they failed to take us into confidence that there's nothing such.
Okwesithathu futhi saphinde satshela ukuthi kunesiqhumane esitshalwe lapha eSentin, okwaphinde kwatholakala ukuthi akunjalo sangabe sisachazelwa ke njengezakhamizi ukuthi iqiniso noma manga baleyo ndaba ikhona na noma amampungu.
My submission, one, I will recommend the whistleblowers to be more protected and being absorbed to state, to intelligence agents.
Isincomo sami ke sithi abantu labo abahlaba ikhwelo lokuthi na umonakalo noma na inkohlakalo yenzeka lapha labo bantu labo kufanele babe ingxenye yobunhloli bavikeleke futhi.
Babu sihlalo noma ngangingayincomi isystem esetshenziswa uhulumeni obandlululo before, but kwakunalabo abantu ababe babiza ngenhloli ababe batshale ngaphakathi kuma communities and kuma societies ethu ababe banikeza information noma yayibuya izoba inkinga noma yayingozi thina but ayusebenzela uhulumeni obandlululo okwami bengathi ke bekungaba kuhle uma nathi ngaphakathi ekuhlaleni singaba nabo abantu abasebenzisana ne intelligence e South Africa ukuze bezonikezela ngeinformation ebalulekile to prevent noma to protect the state security.
Even though, Chair, I do not support or endorse the methodology of the apartheid government that has a very active spy network in our communities who are supplying intelligence to the security cluster. But that was working effectively, although it was working against us. But I believe we should have people everywhere in our neighborhood who are working with our intelligence, who are supplying with the relevant information.
Lastly, unfortunately, this administration or current administration, its term is going to an end. But bengingafisa ukuthi inhlaka enjengalezi zibe more visible in our communities because if ukhuluma nge-intelligence service, umphakathi wakithi nje la uphongolwa, they are not aware ukuthi ukhuluma ngani. So that's why ungayibonanga nje izandla sihlali ngoba uvele wakhuluma nge-term elis-confuse, what is intelligence service? So siyafisa ukuthi in future, going forward, sengathi ningakwazi ukusondeza inhlaka enjeni introduce emphakathini senze sibe aware ngazo. Ngiyabonga.
My contribution is that intelligence services should be a bit more visible. Let our people know when you say intelligence services, what are you referring to? That's the reason why there was no hands that came, because our people are clueless when you say intelligence service. What are you talking about? No wonder there was no contributions. Thank you.
Ngiyabingelela sihlalo nethimba
Thank you
lakho.
very much.
Greetings, Chair, and your committee,
Nabo bonke abaholi abakhona endlini.
and all the leaders present today.
Angazi noma it's a concern noma it's a question le engizoyisho la.
Not sure whether mine is a concern or a question, what I will render now.
But kunento engicela ukuyibuza because kunosisi bethu I think igxile kakhulu ku Home Affairs. That's one.
May I ask this one thing that is relating to Home Affairs, particularly about our sisters?
Kunosisi bethu abayithola sebeshadile kodwa bengazange baze bashade. Uma umuntu ethi uya ka Home Affairs uyoyichecka athola ukuthi useshadile.
There's a lot of our sisters who just discover by surprise that they've been married to somebody else that they do not know.
Asemaningi ama cases siwathola. Anyway, ngiyaxolisa ukungazisho ngumpume ngingwakabuthelezi ngiyimember ye CPF. So maningi ama cases esiwatholayo anjalo concerning because sidila
I
ngumphakathi.
am Mpumi Buthelezi, I'm a member of CPF. We get a lot of cases of fraudulent marriages in our area.
So ngicela ukuthi iParliament ke liqinise lapha ku Home Affairs and kwi system angazi ukuthi bangenze njani.
I'm asking your intervention with the systems of Home Affairs that they are able to pick up a fraud very ill. I don't know how you're gonna do that.
Eyesibili eyobhuti bethu laba abahlala emgaqweni.
And the second point is the brothers that we have that stay on the streets.
ababizwa ngamaphara sizithola singasaphephile emphakathini because umthetho wase South Africa uthi sonke siyalingana and sonke kufanele sibe safe, but kulesi sikhathi sithola kuyibona kakhulu abanakekelwayo kunganakekelwa i-safety yethu as umphakathi.
We found ourselves to be very, very unsafe in our country, that we find that government tends to protect more of those who live on the streets. We call them names, but they get more protection from government than us as the citizens.
Ngiselapho ngiyacabanga ukuthi idolobha nedolobha line bylaw ibylaw yakhona.
I believe all our towns have got various bylaws.
So bengicela ukuthi angazi inhloli zingenza njani ukuthi kucheckwe ukuthi iyasebenza yini kuwo wonke umasipala, because uthola umuntu othanda ukumisa noma yini edolobheni useyimisile, it's either indlu, it's either ini, but sithole singasaphephile.
I want to know that are you able to check whether intelligence reaches every town? Is it working in every town, in every locality? Because in our towns, people are just erecting informal settlements everywhere. You know, be it residential or business, people are just erecting stuff.
Enye yezinto ezenza ukuthi nabangaphandle bazenzele, it's because nathi siyazenzela la eSouth Africa.
That is why
because check.
That is why foreigners come and take over with their illegal businesses and do as they please, because even we as citizens, we just do anyhow in our towns.
Bengicela nje ukuthi silungiseni indaba yama-laws.
Yeah, my request is that the bill will also address the municipal bylaws.
Thank you very much.
Sibonge, kakhulu.
Ngicela ukubingelela usihlalo
Greetings, Chair,
nekomiti lakhe lonke
your committee,
bese ngibingelela umphakathi as a whole.
and the members of the community.
Mina ngingumama uThokozani wakaKhumalo,
I'm Mrs. Thokozani Kumalo.
ngiqhamuka ku eBaqulusini, ngiward committee lakhona kwa ward 11.
From Abaqulusi municipality. I'm a member of the ward committee in Ward 11.
And ngimember futhi yeCPF.
I'm also a member of the CPF.
La ngize nokukhathazeka
I came here with a couple concerns
ukuthi iintelligence yala eSouth Africa inteke
that our intelligence system in the country is very weak.
ukuba ayinteke ngabe ama foreigners awangeni kalula la azozenzela noma yini into ayithandayo.
If it were not so, we would not have such a big influx of undocumented foreigners who come and do as they please in our country.
Into engiphatha kabi ukuthi la kithi okunqamula umngcele namanye ama foreigners kwenziwe ucingo lolengilwenze kwamakhelwane wami.
What bothers me,
Into engelutho umuntu akwazi ukuyijomba kalula.
what bothers me so much is the borders that we have. We have a very, very weak and a short fence that we have as a borderline that people just jump easily. They don't have to work hard to move to come into South Africa.
Kungani eSouth Africa kungenziwa njengamanye amazwe atsethuthukile ngoba nathi ngiyacabanga sithuthukile ukuthi kwenziwe ugange njengoba kunogange nje alihlukanisayo njengoba kusuke kwenziwa amakamera.
Why?
Ukuthi la kithi thina sinikezwa ucingo kodwa ngabe kuba nogange umuntu angakwazi ngisho ukubona ngalo ukuthi kwenzakalani.
Why does it not happen here in South Africa like it happens in other developed countries, of which I believe we are a developed country ourselves, that there's a clear demarcation, probably a wall, without a view on the other side that is developed or erected so that our people cannot just walk anyhow into another country.
Ngibuka lapha yana emngceleni kukhona umngcele nje engiye ngibone abantu bangale eZimbabwe bewela nje umfula kalula. bese befika nje beqaqa nje ucingo bangene kalula nemthwalo yabo sebengenile njalo ngeke sabakhipha.
You look at the border between South Africa and Zimbabwe, those people just cross over the river and then they jump the fence, then with all their luggages, they're in South Africa easily.
Okunye futhi okungiphatha kabi ilokhu kwama drugs.
My other concern is drugs, drug abuse.
Abantwana angisabazi ukuthi sebeyini sekothendeza iminyama ngathi balala emalahleni ingane ayisafunda isikole.
Our children have become very unruly. They are no longer taking care of themselves. They are no longer bathing. They are no longer going to school. They've become something else that I can't even describe.
Ngithi ke njengomama besizwe kubhlungu lokho ukuthi uzala ingane at the end uyibona ingane yakho isifa ihamba.
We as the mothers of the nation, this is very painful. It's heartbreaking to us because we give birth to our children and the next thing we see our children dying right in our own eyes without us being able to help.
Enye into ebhlungu kubo labantwana laba. Uhulumeni lesi sibonelela asikhiphayo bayasithola. Bese kwazi ukuthi bayothenga lento.
Another painful fact is that these grants that government gives, they also get the grant, and then the grant that they get, they go buy these drugs.
Okunye futhi okungikhathazayo iloku ukuthi la eSouth Africa kunogwayi ongenayo la.
Another point of concern is the oversupply of illegal cigarettes.
Iyophela yini TB uma kuloku ngena labo ogwayi esingabazi la eSouth Africa. Kodwa bayangena bayathengwa bathengwa yizo futhi izitolo zala nabantu bala.
Are we gonna be able to win the war against TB with these uncontrolled illegal cigarettes that are coming in numbers into our country? They are in the shelves of our shops and our people are buying these cigarettes.
Okubhlungu ke futhi kuthi wona lo gwayi uthengwa njena nje ukhona nugwayi ka 50 cent.
And even this cigarette that we are talking about, that's readily available and that is so cheap, people buying it at 50 cents. Can you really find a cigarette
Ngikhuluma nje
worth 50
futhi
cents?
nangama bylaws omasipala. Ama China la alala lapha kudayisa khona ukudla lokhu asidayisela khona alala khona kodwa.
And the municipal
Ikhona ni
bylaws
safety lapha.
are selling us food. They are running cafeterias. They sleep right there where they are selling and serving us food. How about safety and hygiene? Does that concept ever exist?
Engikubukayo ngibuka iSouth Africa isisengcupheni ukuthi ithathwe abantu bangaphandle thina sizomove out la sizohlupheka manje ngoba siyabona uhulumeni akathathi stand sokuthi abantu abangena la ngaphakathi banawo yini amaphepha ngoba sebebaningi bagcwele iSouth Africa yonke.
South Africa is running a risk of being taken over by foreigners because they are coming in numbers. They are everywhere, undocumented foreigners in our country.
Siyesaba ukuyithathela umthetho ngoba uma uthatha umthetho kuboshwa wena loya oyena inkinga akaboshwa.
We are afraid to take laws into our own hands because when you do so, you are the one that gets arrested. The one troubling the society with the illegal or undocumentation, they are protected, they are not arrested.
Okubhlungu ukuthi sike sabuka ku TV kunomfana ngapha koGoli lo akakhumalo ogcine seboshwa obethu uzama uqondisa izinto ethatha bona laba abadayisa ama drugs bedayisela ingane zethu kodwa ke ngephutha elenzeka wagcina esewumuntu omubi ku government wambopha.
We see it on TV. There's a young man with a Khumalo surname on TV that was doing a very good job dealing with these drug dealers. Unfortunately, some mistake happened. He's being arrested now.
Okubhlungu ke futhi laba bantu laba nibathanda kakhulu nina government. Niyawuthanda laba abantu abaqhamuka ngaphandle thina sila ngaphakathi thina ningasifuni impela ke.
Another painful fact is that you government, you seem to love more of these foreigners. You love these foreigners more than you love your own citizens.
Anenza ukuthi nibathande ngiyabona nicothela amavoti ukuthi banivotele.
And
Ngoba sikhona nje la asinenelisi ngamavoti ngeke uzwe kuthiwa khona izwe elifana lala eSouth Africa eselino 380 something wamaqembu uzovotela liphi othi ozolethemba.
I think you love these foreigners so much because we can't seem to satisfy your desire for votes because it's like, you're not happy with us because how on earth you have a country with more than 380 political parties? So that is why now you're counting on these foreigners just to come and give you the vote.
Ngikhumbula ngesikhathi se-COVID.
I remember during the COVID pandemic,
Okwakubuhlungu kakhulu ukuthi mawushonelwe umuntu wakho nomzali wakho awumboni.
what was more painful is that your loved ones, even your parent, would not be able to see.
Ugovernment ungenaphi kumuntu wami mangabe iCovid izongena mina. Omama bethu bahambe benqunu beyofakwa emgodini singazange size sibabone. Kanti ngosiko lwethu thina abantu umuntu omdala udlula ekhaya agezwe agqokise enzelwe usiko kodwa kwenzakalanga
We
lokho.
buried our mothers naked and our cultures were trampled upon because when an elderly person, a parent has died, they stop by home. There's cultures and rituals that we perform before we move to the burial sites.
Lokho kwasiphatha kabi kakhulu ngoba iningi labantu lapha kwaze kwatholakala ukuthi omunye ushisiwe cabanga ukuthi uyiNdiya kanti akalona iNdiya neNdiya nalo lathathwa bafike kwaphambana inkomishe laphana la
So much happened during the COVID. Some people were cremated only to discover that it was a wrong body, and some they discovered that it was an Indian in an African family. So much confusion happened during COVID.
Ibhlungu indaba yeCovid ngoba mina kudluli kimi.
I'm sorry that I just can't let go just like that. It's still very painful to me.
Ngicela ukuthi ugovernment akakasibhekele namaphalo sikhathela amaphalo umne wami umama wahamba engaphelele.
I also would like government to have these laws that regulates funeral parlors because I know that my mother, when we buried, she was missing some body parts.
Lokho ngani ngoba ugovernment akazange eyabuze kithi ukuthi uma sekunje sengena iCovid wavela wayithathela isinqumo wazenzela namaphalo azenzela.
Government just decided on their own, and funeral parlors, they decided on their own with our own family members. They did their own thing.
Engikushoyo namhlanje ngithi
What I'm saying therefore today is that tomorrow,
South Africa sizobe sibuswa yiNigeria president noma waseZimbabwe iyaphela indaba yethu lapha eSouth Africa sizophathwa ama foreigners kuphela nje ngiyama lapha.
tomorrow South Africa will be led by a Nigerian or a Zimbabwean. Foreigners will take power. That's my submission for today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We will go for the second round.
Ngiyabonga kakhulu. So thatha ke ihlandlo noma iqoqo lesibili labazokhuluma.
Can we take hands?
So cela ke abazophakamisa izandla.
1, 2,
Qala wesibili,
3,
wesithathu,
4,
wesine,
5,
wesihlanu,
6,
wesithupha,
number 6, yeah. 6,
sameko wesithupha,
do we have number 7?
ukhona wesikhombisa.
Number 7? No.
Akekho wesikhombisa? Cha.
That will be the last round.
Kuzoba ke iqoqo lokugcina leli abazokhuluma.
Number 7?
Wesikhombisa
Number 7,
Nangu wesikhombisa.
any other hand?
Basakhona abanye?
8,
Shakalombili.
okay, there we are.
Sesingaqala. I would like to greet everyone.
Kubaholi base parliament ngibingelele kubaholi
The
intelligent
Parla-
agent
Parliamentary Committee in particular
nabantu bonke nabaholi balapha ePhongolo.
and the leadership of Pongolo present.
Igama lami ngumduduzi isibongo Simelane
My name is Mduduzi Smelane.
osebenza CPF endaweni yase Vryheid.
I am a member of the CPF in Vryheid.
Ngizo banento nje ezimbadlana kakhulu ngengande kakhulu.
I have a few things that I would like to say, but I'm not going to be long.
Engicela kakhulu indaba yabafowethu laba abaqhamuka emazweni angaphandle ngoba umonakalo mukhulu kakhulu.
The first issue is pertaining to foreign nationals because I believe there's a huge risk or problem there.
Singakhala ngobugebengu kakhulukazi thina esemalokishini kanti ubugebengu lapha khona lapho ufuna khona kuqalwe khona ithumba mali khona ufuna ukuthi iqhumduze ukuthi ithumba la bese kukhishwa umnyombo ngoba ngeliphola ithumba makuthi umnyombo awukho.
We always complain about crime in our areas, but we don't look at the root cause. And if we really want to deal with this matter, we need to go to the roots of this problem and remove the roots in order to deal with it.
Ngizocela nje ukuthi eParliament ukuthi angazi ngenze kanjani ukuthi mangathiwa bayi review indaba yongena kwabantu bangaphandle lapha eSouth Africa ngoba iyona into enza ukuthi namhla sibiza ingane zethu ngamaphara abafowethu ngamaphara oyibona bebela abantu ababulala abantu kwesinye isikhathi babe kumele bathole izinto zabanye abantu ngokomthetho.
I wish for the committee or the parliamentary committee to look at the whole issue of entry into the country because this is where the problem starts and then we end up with our brothers and our family members being called Amapara, but the root cause of all of that is the whole control at the ports of entry.
Bese kuba yindaba yokuthi labantu bahleze endaweni webhayi lapha khona ufuna ukuthi economy thina sikwazi ukuthi isisize ngoba bangama cities kumadolobha accommodate ayibona bethi uthothi umuntu uyambona wenza small business kodwa manje uyamangala ukuthi lo muntu ukwazi kanjani uafforda irent ka 10,000.
We also see that they are also a detriment to our economy because they've become an economy unto themselves. You'll find that in cities and towns, they have small businesses and then you end up wondering how can they afford to pay a rental of the space where they are running their business of 10,000 rand plus.
Bese kuba sorry yindaba yemsebenzi imisebenzi eminingi kuyangimanga ukuthi basebenza imisebenzi engabe isetshenzwa abantu base South Africa umsebenzi odinga i-general worker ongadingi i-matric ongadingi qualification kodwa uthola ukuthi lo muntu uyasebenza kwi-contract le mali letholayo lo muntu lo ngabe itholwa umuntu oyisithizini yase South Africa kodwa futhi uqashwa khona eSouth Africa imisebenzi ayikho imisebenzi ikhona.
Also the issue of employment where you find that these people end up taking up space in the unskilled labor market, spaces which should be occupied by South Africans. And then we always complain that there is a high unemployment rate when there are job opportunities, but they are just taken up by these people.
Bese kuba iphono lokugcina kulabo abantu bangaphandle ukuthi bayenza nama human trafficking eyaziwayo futhi engehli nokuthi yehle iyaqhubeka izingane zethu imihla nemihla abantu bayabulawa kodwa kuyazi ukuthi babula abantu bangaphandle kodwa isinyathelo asisiboni senzeka.
And also the other issue is the issue of human trafficking, ushushumbiswa kwabantu, where we find that people are being trafficked every day, but we don't see any steps being taken. Even people get killed in this process, but nothing really is visible that is being done or tangible to us.
Bese kuba ngokugcina.
Lastly,
Indaba yabantu besilisa esiyesibhekane nayo thina uthola umuntu wesilisa uyahlukumezeka. Ushawa umuntu wesifazane kodwa methu kumele avule icala. Kube inkingi ukuthi mayifika e-charge office uthola ukuthi ayithatheleki phezulu indaba yakhe. Indoda izithatha isinqumo sokuthi mhlawumbe ufuna ukuthatha umthetho ngesandla sayo uze kuthi uyibulela unkosikazi nezingane kanti into bethu ivimbeke eqaleni.
and
Ngaba
also,
kuzaye kwaze kwenzeka.
and also another issue is an aspect of gender-based violence which focuses on men being the victims, where you'll find that men do not really receive any support. Even when they go to report, they're not taken seriously, which results in them actually taking the law into their own hands. And you find situations where a man has killed his wife and even he's killed his children.
Bese kokugcina ngiyacela nje ukuthi baholi ungathi ngeke kubhekele kakhulu ukuthi kube nesiqiniseko ukuthi emphakathini ukhona abantu ngempela ungagcini lekuthiwa khona abantu abasiza manje mhlawumbe maningi ngaba ama sports ngaba yini ukuphakamisa ama talent legenge lencane ikwazi ukuthi iphume ebugebengwini ngoba indaba enkulu ukuthi mabengenzi lutho yona into eyinkinga ama sponsor ukuthi ama sports afile emalokishini so bathatha abantu abazidlalela isizwe mawukuthi ama sports awanayekile kangaka endaweni lapho ehlala khona singabantu abamnyama ngiyabonga.
In conclusion, my honorable leaders, I would also request that we look into the whole issue of sports and recreation in townships because an idle mind is very dangerous and our youth have nothing to do and that then tends to lead them into things that really affect the country or the community negatively. If we can do maybe something in terms of sports and recreation, give the young people something to do, they will contribute towards the sporting codes of the country. Otherwise, at this point in time, we might not have people to represent the country in sports.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ngiyabingelela, ngibingelela usihlalo. Ngasho ukuthi all protocol observed. Igama lami ngunene Thokozile from Oversight.
Greetings to the chair. Ngiphinde ngibingelele wonke umuntu ngokuyigaba zabo. Igama lami nguThokozile Nene from Freihead.
I-concern yami kakhulu abaningi sebekhulumile ngayo kodwa nami ngizocela nje ukugcizelela ngayo indaba yama-foreigner.
My concern, even though previous speakers have touched on it, but I would like to emphasize this issue of foreign nationals.
Singabahlali base-South Africa sesiyasaba ukuhlala e-South Africa njengoba thina singabase-South Africa izwe lethu seliphenduke inhlekisa emazweni angaphandle ngoba sekugcwele ama-foreigner kakhulu e-South Africa and a-take over.
As South Africans, we are now afraid of living in our country as South African citizens, primarily because we have become a joke in amongst other nations because foreign nationals have taken over in our areas.
And number 2, ama-border gates. Sicela umthetho futhi uqine kakhulu kuma-border gates. Sesikhathele abantu abasuka ngaphandle bezogcwala izini lethu. Abanye babo bayazi ukuthi vele mawufike e-South Africa uvumelekile ukuthi ubelethe usuka ngale ezweni lakho ufike e-South Africa wamukeleke ubelethe uzothole nobulunga bala e-South Africa ngokuthi wena usuweqile ezweni lakho wazongena e-South Africa. Ama-border gates ethu umthetho uyaxeka nje kakhulu.
Also, the issue of ports of entry, border gates in particular, where you find that people from other countries cross over to our country and they give birth whilst here and they take advantage of all the benefits that are for citizens of this country. And then you find that they do as they please. And I think it's a serious problem for us. And I think the law or regulations at border gates is very, very lax.
Okugcina ngizocela umthetho udlala indima yawo kuma officials awo. Ma officials ala eSouth Africa ayaganga kakhulu.
Also, I would like our officials to be held accountable because I believe our officials are not taking their work seriously.
Especially amaphoyisa futhi. Amaphoyisa siyasebenza nawo ayazi ukuthi ayazi siyasebenzisana nawo ayazi ukuthi obani siyababikela ezisingama CPF members ukuthi no obani abenza ubugebengu kanjani nakuphi indawo edayisa ama drugs uyabona futhi umuntu bayafika khona qembe bayafika beze kuyena uqeda lapha abenzi lutho ubona umuntu esesele futhi kube sekuba wena osenkingeni impilo yakho iba sengcupheni ngalokho ngiyabonga.
Lastly, I would also like to raise the issue of police services, where you find as a member of the CPF, you'll report to the that a certain person is dealing with drugs. You'll see the police going there, but nothing happens to the person, which leaves you at risk as the person who has reported. And I would like this to be taken care of. Thank you very much.
Ngibingelele usihlalo nabo bonke abakhona ihambeli ngiyabonga.
Greetings to the chair and all our visitors. Thank you.
Okhulumayo uxolile waNgqongo eFryhead oyimember yeCPF.
My name is Xolile Ngongo, a member of the CPF in Fryhead.
Ngizocela ukuthi ke kubuyekezwe kuma CPF. Ama CPF abeka impilo zawo engcupheni kodwa they are not recognized.
I would like a review of the operations of the CPF because I believe CPF members put their lives at risk, but they are not recognized.
Yes, ngicela ukuthi kube nento encane abangayithola because kuyenzeka ngibone into la fanele ngifone uthothi angikwazi ukufona because anginayo airtime efonini kodwa ubugebengu sengi-identifyile vele angisakwazi ukuthi ngidlulise bese lo muntu loyo uyaphunyuka uyaqhubeka futhi ubugebengu buyanda.
If maybe they can be given resources, for example, as a CPF member, I may see a crime being committed and would want to phone, but only to find that I'm not resourced enough to be able to make that phone call to prevent the crime. So that then means the crime will continue unabated. If maybe that can be looked at as well.
Nje ngizoqala ukusho ukuthi izolo uma ngivuka ekseni uza umuntu uzongibikela ukuthi imoto yakhe igqekeziwe. Ahambe aye ngimluleke ukuthi akahambe emaphoyiseni ayovula icase. Uthe mayefika emaphoyiseni amaphoyisa azombuza ukuthi usolabani uzosolabani vele.
Yesterday I had a situation where a member of the community came to report to me that their car was broken into last night, and I advised them to go to the police. And when they went to the police asked the person who they suspected of committing the crime.
And mayebuya bekufanele ngabe ubuye nabo bomthetho ukuthi mhlambe bathathe all ama fingerprints mhlambe identify ama footsteps but akekho ofikile and yafika imvula yawayipha yonke into.
And when they came back from the police station, they came back by themselves. There was nobody accompanying them to take fingerprints or even to take pictures of the footprints that were on the scene. And unfortunately, the rain came and washed away all that evidence.
Ngiyabonga.
Thank you very much.
Anginibingelele usihlalo nabo bonke abakhona phakathi kwendlu ngokwehlalo zabo kusukela kuhulumeni omkhulu kuze kuyofika egabeni eziphansi.
Greetings to everyone, to the chair and everyone in the house and all protocols observed.
Igama lami ngubongani waKhanyi ngisuka kwa 3 eKhiphunyawo.
My name is Bongani Khanyi from area 3 at Kipunyawo.
Ngi-ward committee ngokusebenza.
I'm a member of the ward committee there.
Okokuqala ngizocala ngikhale ngokungahleleki kwalezi thangami ezinjengalezi.
Firstly, I would like to raise the issue of the disorganization or lack of organization when it comes to such fora.
Nabantu nje abancane ngalendlela kodwa kube kukhulunywa ngezinto ezibaluleke kakhulu kangaka.
And looking at the small number of people who are present when we are discussing such serious issues.
Nabasihlelela ke i-transport njengathi nje sile Khiphunyawo sifike sitshela ukuthi itaxi izosithatha ngo7 esize sathathwa ngo11 yikho futhi manje sesizogcina uthola ukuthi ngathi awusayilandeli into noma uyaphuma kuzinto ezikhulunywayo.
And also, like for example, those who organize transport for us. In our area, we were told that will be picked up at 7, only to be picked up at 11, which is why you might find that some people might seem as if they are not following or not talking to what is being discussed because they arrived late.
Okunye engithanda ukwazi ukuthi mhlambe ithangabi ezinjengalezi ngempela zisuke zibalekile ziyasizana ngoba ziningi esithamele kugcine futhi egcineni singezwanga ukuthi kugcine yipi.
And also, I would like to highlight that these kinds of gatherings are very important to us because in most cases, you'll find that we end up not knowing what is happening in our country.
Angiqaleke ngezinto ezimhlambe eziphakamiso noma ezinkhalisayo.
Let me raise my issues that are my concerns and proposals.
Ake ngiqale nje kuyi-Home Affairs ngezinto zama-ID lapho esibona khona uma mhlambe kunentonyana noma ongenayo kahle ubona njengomhlali wala eSouth Africa kuba nzima kakhulu ukuthola ipasi wenziswe nama-interview ugcine uhlulekile kodwa sibona ama-foreigners ubalula nje ukuthola ama-ID.
Let me start with Home Affairs, where you find as a South African citizen, if you want to get, for example, an ID, it is quite a daunting task for you, but we see foreigners easily being issued with South African IDs.
Nalento sibona izogcina isidalela inkinga ngoba kulo mphakathi noma ke na umphakathi singaphinde siuhlabe unabantu lama foreigners othola ukuthi uonkonko ngokwesibongo kodwa isibongo sakhe sekuthiwa ngwakwakhanya une-ID.
This is going to be a problem when it comes to even issues of land because you find a person with a surname, their real surname being Onkonko, only to find that in the ID they are Khanya, and this is going to create problems for us.
Yileyo into esikhalisayo ukuthi siyabona khona ushintsho eHome Affairs bayalizama kodwa kusho ukuthi ke abantu bahlale benawo wonke amaqhinga okwenza izinto ezikhohlakele.
We can see that there are efforts being made to try and remedy the situation, but as we know, crooks are always a step ahead when it comes to their criminal activities.
Okunye ngizawukhala ngawo futhi amaphoyisa nokunye ke khona ezinye izinto engayi-understand ngihlala eduze komncelo usuke uyitholele nje amasotsha ehamba ngemoto yomsebenzi kodwa eyigqokele njengami engaba kungekho into e-identifya ukuthi bangamasotsha namaphoyisa ke sinokubuka kakhulu leyo nto noma kungathiwa lethu ubufakazi kodwa sinokubuka amaphoyisa esiza abantu ukushushumbisa ama-drugs insangu konke ngey'moto zelokhuzane bebagadele yonke into ukuthi ke uhulumeni sicela ukuthi asibhekele nakuwo amaphoyisa kwenziwe mhlampe naleya nto eyayenziwa kuqala ukuthi umuntu afike ehlala isikhathi esincane ashintshwa ahambe ngoba bagcine sebazi konke kube yibo futhi uma uthi ubakhiphela information abayithatha boyitshela igebengu ugcina usulimala futhi.
Also on the issue of policing, I live near a border fence and I have observed in my area members of the South African National Defence Force traveling around in army vehicles but wearing civilian clothing and not being able to be identified as members of the Defence Force. And also I've observed members of the South African Police Services colluding with criminals, in other words, helping them to bring in drugs and other illicit products. And so I find it very disturbing. Maybe we should return to a system which was in the past where a police member does not serve in the same area for a long time, because when they stay for a long time, they collude with criminals, and when you report, they then report you to the criminals.
Okunye ke kulapha ezikolweni inkinga lapha engiyibona khona othola ukuthi ezikolweni lapha inamba yabafundi iphezulu kodwa ngokwabantu abala eSouth Africa uthola ukuthi iphansi ngenye indlela okwenza ukuthi bangakhona ukuthola nezinsizakalo uhulumeni ngoba kuthiwa mhlambe uthola ukuthi bakuthiwa bawu200 kodwa isikole sibe sinabafundi aba1000 lokho kudalwa ukuthi angazi ukuthi mhlambe ngathi kufuneka kwenziwe njani ngoba uthola ukuthi thina siseduze komncele waseSwazini unenqwaba yezingane ezibuye eSwazini eziza ngapha ezingaphethe futhi ama-document afanayo okugcina manje zihleshulela ukudla okungabe kutholwa yizingane zethu ne-stationery engabe sitholwa yizingane zethu zikube yibo manje sebethola lezo zinto ngokuthi kuhulumeni wazi ukuthi mhlambe umzwentsha uneingane ezu200 kodwa eqinisweni emzwentsha kuneingane ezu1000.
And also the issue of overcrowding in schools, where you'll find that the number that is official in terms of the number of children or school kids in the school is not the same as the actual number or the physical number of kids that are actually attending in that school. For example, I live near the border with Swaziland, where you'll find a lot of school children from Swaziland that attend a school near my area. For example, you'll find that the records reflect that in that school there are 200 children, only to find that there are 1,000 in actual fact. And this affects the school feeding scheme as well, because then this food then is distributed, shared by 1,000 school children when it's supposed to be, or when it's meant for only 200 children. I would like this to also be looked at.
Okunye ke baholi bami noma mhlambe kungaphuma la engicela ukuniphathisa kona. Sinenkinga le ye age ukuthi umuntu osena 35 akasakwazi mhlambe ukuqhasheka kwezinye indawo. Kodwa futhi inkinga ku35 ilapho uqala khona ongathi ngiqala isigaba sokuthi ke manje izinto empilweni yakho ufune kuzenza. Uma ufika kuleyo mnyaka utholakala ukuthi wena sekuthiwa awusafanele. Uma futhi uyofuna usizo uhulumeni ufuna intsha. Manje ke lokho kugcina kusilidela nasebugebengini ngoba ngokufuna esiphilisa imndeni yethu kodwa iqiniso lakhona uhulumeni uyasirejecta uthi iminyaka yethu seyilokhuza iseyiphezulu.
And also, maybe as I conclude, Chair, I would like to also raise, even though I know this is not pertaining to the bill per se, but to raise the issue of the 35-year age limit when it comes to employment and other related services that you get from government. For example, when you reach the age of 35, that's when your life is supposed to be taking shape and you are supposed to be achieving certain things as a human being. But you'll find that because of this limit, we cannot access some of the resources that are available or services that are available to assist us. If this maybe can be looked at, as I said, I know this is not really in line with the bill, but I would like to give you this as something to also look at, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Ngibingelele kubaholi bonke abakhona ngaphakathi endlini.
Greetings to the
Ney'hambeli
leadership
zethu zonke.
in the venue.
Igama ulindelwa wakwaNkosi from Ward 5 eBelgrade khona la uPhongolo.
My name is
Yini intelligence.
Under the issue of intelligence, I would like our communities that we come from, for them to receive education about intelligence so that they'll understand what it means.
And also ezinye inhlanga zikahulumeni because uthola ukuthi kunezimo esibhekana nazo kodwa asazi ukuthi yipi yona department ekumele sixhumane nayo.
And also for the community to be educated about which government structures they need to approach for different issues.
Into yami yokuqala nje bengithanda ukucela usizo ngayo. Abafowethu sebekhulume kakhulu ngabafowethu abasuka emazweni angaphandle. La uPhongolo especially la ngiphuma khona baneyitoro more than 15. Uthola ukuthi bathengisa ukudla okudala okukhoza ukugula einganeni but awazi ukuthi ungababikaphi because nezinto ezifana no CPF thina asinazo. Asazi nje nokuthi kuyini CPF.
In as much as a lot of the previous speakers have spoken about the issue of foreign nationals, I just want to highlight a problem that we have in my area because firstly, we don't have a CPF in our area. So when you want to report issues pertaining to foreign nationals, for example, they have a number of shops where they sell expired foods and foods that are not fit for consumption, which cause sicknesses amongst our children. But as I said, we do not have knowledge as to where we can report these issues.
Okwesibili bengithanda ukukhuluma ngako it's the issue of Department of Education. Ngakithi we are closer to border la Swaziland. uthola ukuthi ezikolweni kunezingane eziwu-2000 esikoleni kodwa othisha they are only 30. Uthola ukuthi uthisha oyedwa ufundisa from grade 8 to grade 12. Imfundo ingane ayisayitholi ngokwanele to the point ukuthi kuyafeyilwa. Besicela the basic education ikisize ngalokho.
I also live in an area which is close to the Eswatini border. And what I also observe and I would like to raise is the issue of overcrowding in our schools, where you find that there are 2,000 pupils and there's about 20?
About 30
30 teachers. And you find that one teacher teaches from grade 8 to grade 12. And as a result, the quality of the education is compromised and there's a very high failure rate.
Okunye okukhona where I come from, amanzi esiwaphuzayo, idamu lethu alibiyeliwe. Uthola ukuthi izingane zibhukusha in a very same dam amanzi esiphuzayo. Besicela ukuthi kube khona i-department yaka water ike nje isize ngokwenza i-audit kuyindawo neyindawo bese kubiyelwa ama dams.
In my area also we have a dam which we use for drinking water and you find that children also swim in that dam. I would like to request also the Department of Water Affairs to do an audit in terms of the water needs of the areas where we come from. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Ngibingelele kuhlalo nabo bonke abahlonishwa bakhona.
Greetings to the chair and all the honorable members who are with us today.
Igama lami nguPhumlane owaMadonsela waNongoma from Ward 17.
My name is Phumlani Madonsela from Nongoma, Ward 17.
Ngokuba ngise committee le losomabhizinisi abancane.
I am a member of a committee that deals with small businesses, development of small businesses.
Isikhalazo sami njengoba sengichazile ukuthi ngise committee losomabhizinisi abancane. Isikhalazo sami engisicelayo kuhulumeni ukuba uhulumeni siyafisa ukuthi uhulumeni simhlangabeze ngendlela asho ngayo ukuthi asizameni ukuthi senze amabhizinisi ukuze sikwazi ukuthi sizithuthukise kodwa ngibona ungazuthi uyena uhulumeni ongasihlangabezi.
I would like to raise this issue because I believe that as small businesses we would like to meet the government halfway, but we find that government is not willing to meet us halfway as small businesses.
Lokho ngikushiso isizathu sokuthi singomsomabhizinisi abancane siyazama ukuthola certificate zokuthi si qualify uba osomabhizinisi abancane kodwa uthola ukuthi sizohlala iminyaka engaphezulu kuka 5 years ungazange uthole umsebenzi kodwa futhi ube umbhadara usalsi ungazi ukuthi umbhadara ngani ungasebenzi.
As small businesses you'll find that we try and register our businesses and you'll find that after registering our businesses we stay for a long time without getting any work or business, but at the same time we're expected to pay tax and we don't know how we're expected to pay tax if we're not getting any work or business.
Ipoint lam lesibili ilela seberezile abafowethu abaningi asebeke baba khona la lokwanda kwengane lezi ezihlala emgwaqeni engamaphara.
The other issue I would like to raise is pertaining to those kids that stay in the streets that are referred to as paras.
Ngicabanga ukuthi ukwanda kwamaphara ukudepende khona kuyena uhulumeni ngoba uhulumeni uyazi ukuthi imisebenzi ayisekho ngaphandle siyazama singabahlali base South Africa ukuthi sizama imisebenzi ukuthi siyivule imisebenzi ukuze ingane zethu ikwazi ukusebenza siyazama futhi ukuthi ingane zethu siyithathe sizise ema groundini ukuthi ikwazi ukuthi ziyodlala amabhola but kodwa noma uthi uyayithatha uyidlalisa amabhola ngoba noma une business awutholi ukuxhaseka kuhulumeni ukuthi ukwazi ukuthi unikeze umsebenzi kuphela okutholayo uthola ukuthi kufanele uyobhadala uhulumeni ama tax noma uyithatha ukuthi ubaleka nazo ibalekisela ukuthi zingayi kumaphara emgwaqeni uthi uyayithatha uzise ema groundini ayinamakhokho ayinamajezi ayinamabhola ugcine kwawena wehlulekile ngaleyo ndlela ke leso sikhathi ke ingane zizogcwala ngayo lapha na emgwaqeni ziyobhema amawungu.
I think the government also needs to take responsibility for this para phenomenon because I believe as small businesses, in as much as we try to get our youth, our children away from drugs and the streets, we do this at our own accord as small businesses, but government is not assisting us in any way. And even when you try and look for funding or any assistance in terms of resources, you don't get any help. And also when you take them to the sports field where maybe they are playing soccer, you'll find that they don't have the necessary equipment like sports kits, soccer boots and balls to be able to participate. And then they end up going back to the drugs.
Ngiyabonga.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Siyabonga.
Ngiyabingelela kusihlalo netafula lonke.
Greetings to the chair and all the honorable members in front of us.
Ngibingelele nabafowethu nje bonke abakhona la.
And everybody in the house.
Engifisa ukucela nje kakhulu kusihlalo ukuthi imithetho eminingi le eshiwoyo mhlambe yenzakalayo. Siyafisa ukuthi imithetho ivele obala ngoba ezinye izinto singasola ama department. Kuthola ukuthi imithetho kuma department thina njengabahlali asiyazi. So siyafisa ukuthi kungabe bikho izinto ezihayidwayo kuze kufike uthi mawusufika mhlambe police station kube nemithetho soyixosha khona kanti kunemithetho ekuthiwa isobala.
I would like to raise this chair, the issue of
I didn't hear him introducing himself.
Sorry chair. Ngunjabulo Ngwanchangase.
My name is Njabulo Nchangase,
Usihlalo ka Civil Society ebuye be Hoc Committee la ka Ward 10 opho.
chair of civil society at Ward 10.
Sengaqala ngisho. Okay. Cha into engifisa ukuthi ngiyicele la sihlalo. Ngiyezwa abafowethu abaningi sebekhulumile ngabantu bokufika nangamanye ama departments akhona mhlambe ngaphakathi. Ngiyafisa lana ukuba sihlalo ngicele nje ukuthi imithetho le eshiwoyo kungabe ukuthi mhlambe siyisho la uphongolo futhi izogcinela la uphongolo ingasebenzi. So siyafisa ukuyibona isebenza.
Chair, I would like to raise the issue of the bills or the acts that are being discussed, even as we're discussing right now here in Pongolo, that these acts get to be implemented and we see them operating because it then makes the exercise a futile one if they are not going to be implemented. And Chair, what he had said earlier on, I forgot to interpret that. He was referring to laws being made known to the public so that when they go to the police stations to report crimes and such issues, they know exactly which laws are governing those processes, because what they find is that when they go to the police station and raise issues, they then discover that there was a law that they did not know about, which then makes the exercise or the process not to run smoothly.
Ngibuye ngicele la sihlalo into ethi njengoba sazi ukuthi abantu abaningi abasebenzi siyafisa ukuthi sihlalo nisenzele umthetho othi lama officer ka DNA test asondele eduzane ngoba uthola ukuthi umuntu ufuna ukwenzela ingane certificate bese kuthiwa akahamba yokwenza DNA test kuthola ukuthi kuqhelile kanti kulowo mndeni akekho sebenzayo.
And also, Chair, the issue of unemployment, where you find, for example, that a person is unemployed and they would like to obtain a birth certificate for their child, and then they are told that they need to perform or they need to get a DNA test done. And you'll find that the areas where these, or the centers where these tests are done are not in the same area where they are residing.
Kubuye kube nomthetho engifisa ukuthi nowufake lona wokubhekelela abantu laba bokufika abenza amabhizinisi la ngaphakathi ngoba siyaqonda ukuthi bazohweba uhwebo lwabo logcine selilimaza abantu bakhona la eSouth Africa bengakwazi ukwenza imisebenzi ngoba sazi ukuthi izinto ezitoro zikhuphuke ngendlela exakile kodwa kuthola ukuthi uma umuntu wala eSouth Africa enza le business lelo elincane kuthola ukuthi meqhathanisa nelo muntu okufika kuchipa khona kunomuntu okufika.
And then also the issue of foreign nationals when it comes to small businesses, where you find that they basically block our own small businesses from developing because you'll find that when you compare what they sell and the prices thereof, their prices work out cheaper than our own people, and therefore our own people cannot develop a small business people.
Okunye che ngiyafisa ukuba noma uhulumeni esekhulume kabanzi ngendaba ye-GBV no HIV nani kodwa sengathi ngephela amandla ngoba siyaqonda ukuthi izingane ezinye izalwayo njengamanje ziphuma isenawo HIV okusho ukuthi imithetho le khona ihambe ilimaze kuthenini isystem ingenzi ngendlela efanele so siyafisa ukuba kwenzeke izinto ngendlela efanele.
I would also like maybe for our government to consider making sure that laws that are passed are actually aimed at eradicating some of the problems that we have in society. For example, the issue of GBV and HIV, where you find that children are still born infected with HIV, whereas there are measures in place that are supposed to prevent that, which means there is somewhere in the system there is a loophole or there is a gap, and we need to address that as well.
Okugcina che ngicela ukukhuluma ngesikole sabantu abaphila ngokukhubazeka siyafisa ukuthi sengathi kungabhekwa lokho ke kuthenini nalabantu abaphila nokukhubazeka ngabe iluphi uhlobo lokukhubazeka kodwa izikole zibe khona kuma LMs ezisuke zikhona ezibhekelele abantu abaphila nokukhubazeka ngoba siyaqonda ukuthi kunabantu abaningi abaphila nokukhubazeka kodwa bahleze emakhaya abangakwazi ukuyofunda kule izikole lezi ezikhona la ngaphakathi.
Lastly, Chair, I would like to raise the issue of schools that are for the disabled, because you find that there are insufficient schools for disabled children. It doesn't matter what disability that they have. We would like maybe for local municipalities to have these schools built so that these children can also be able to be taught or receive education.
Che ngicela nje ukwenza isicelo esincane ngisicela kuwe che ukuthi kube umphako wakho lo ukuthi siyacela ukuthi abantu abasha nebacabangele ekuthenini kube nikwakheka amathuba omsebenzi kungabe ukuthi kuneparlament kodwa amathuba omsebenzi awenzeki nalabo abangosomabhizinisi abancane siyafisa ukubabona befufusa singababoni begcwele igeletini bese kugcineni kube yithi sibagxikayo sibabiza ngamaphara sibabiza ngani kodwa kube nikhona che phambili ekuthenini kufanele ngabe sibakhela indlela zokuphila kuze bezokwazi ukuphuma kulokhu abakukho ngithokoza kakhulu ngiyabonga.
Chair, lastly, maybe something maybe for you to also take away with the committee is the whole issue of the support for small businesses so that we can make sure that they do not fail as small businesses and end up maybe sometimes being what we call amapara. Maybe we should look to supporting them so that they don't end up in debt and their businesses collapse and then we say they are unable to run their own businesses. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Ngicela ukubingelela usihlalo wami ngaphambili kanye nesigungu sakhe nezihambeli zakhe ebese ngibingelela umphakathi okhona la ngaphakathi ngokukhethekile oze ngokukhandleka obhekana nakho eindaweni ohlala kuzona.
Greetings to the chair and the committee, and I would like to greet the community in particular who are here to raise their concerns and hardships that they are facing where they reside.
Igama lami mina ngingusithembile ngwakathwala from Nongoma Ward 16 ngikuyi-VD yakwaNqokotho ngusihlalo khona.
My name is
Sithembile
Twala from Nongoma
Ward 16.
Ward 16
Kuyi-VD yami yakwaNqokotho.
At Nqokotho VD.
Yes, ngiwusihlalo ngaphansi kwe-VD yami.
I am the chairperson in that area.
Yebo, into engicela ukuyicela kusihlalo wami ngaphambili nengicela ukumphathisa yona abaningi sebekhulumile izinto eziningi singebe lokhu siphinda okuningi ekubeni ngabe sesiphendulekile kahle kahle. Ebengifisa ukusho nje yikho lokho kokukhala ngayo indaba yomsebenzi umsebenzi asisebenzi. Mina nje ngino 44 years njengamanje kodwa umlungu angimazi.
Also, Chair, a number of issues have been raised that I would have loved to raise. I'm not going to rehash those, but I would like to raise this issue of unemployment in particular because I am currently 44 years old, but I've never been employed.
Ngingamazi nje umlungu kubuhlungu kakhulu ngoba nginomndeni, nginezingane, ngiyafundisa konke lokho kudingeka kumina. Engicabanga ukuthi akekho ngazi njengamanje ukuthi thina abantu besifazane isikhathi esiningi singabantu abajwayele ukuyiphathela umndeni ngabodwana ngenxa yokuthi abantu besilisa isikhathi esiningi bayabaleka eduze kwethu.
Also, unemployed as I am, I'm expected to raise children, feed them, clothe them, and also take them to school. And we know as women, we are usually expected to raise children by ourselves because men tend to run away from that responsibility.
Bengicela ukubuza nje ukuthi kuyanijabulisa nima nibona umuntu wesifazane ongangami othakaza azambona umlungu ongakaze nje azaphathe ngisho bathi yini payslip angikwazi nokuthi kumi kanjani kodwa nami ngiyafisa njengabanye abantu ngiyafisa nje ukwazi ukuthi kuyanijabulisa nima nibona umuntu onjengami ekhuluma kanje.
I would also like to know from the committee how it makes the committee feel to hear somebody as old as I am who says they have never been employed, let alone seeing or holding or knowing what is called a pay slip. How does that make you feel as the committee when you hear such things that are happening to our people?
Ngokukhuluma kwami kanje nginethemba lokuthi ngoba ngikhuluma phambi kweParliament engiqala uma phambi kwalo njengamanje nginethemba lokuthi mhlambe khona engizokuzwa kulenza ushintsho empilweni yami njengokuthi nje eBhayibhelini ukufa kwenkosi uZiya kwamenza ukuthi ambone uNkulunkulu ngelinye ilanga mhlambe nami ngokukhuluma kwami kanje ukhona ukuzoshintsha empilweni yami.
I'm speaking in front of Parliament with the hope as scripture says that the death of King Uzziah made the king to see God. And I hope that even here, by speaking to the committee, there might be something that I can benefit, that can change my situation personally.
Ukwedlula nje ke umbuzo enginawo nje wodwa ilo engicabanga ukuthi bengilokhu ngilalele amanye amalunga ephosa imibuzo la wokuthi uEskom njengamanje sinenkinga yokuthi ugesi uyabiza nje kufa ama-transformer abulawa ukuthi abantu abaningi ugesi abawuthengi bengawuthengi nje hayi ngoba bethanda ukungawuthengi ingenxa yesimo sempilo esiphila ngaphansi kwaso imisebenzi kayikho.
Also, another issue that pertains to electricity, where you'll find that in our area, we don't have electricity or sufficient electricity supply. We can't afford to buy electricity, not because we don't want to, but people are unemployed and simply cannot afford to buy electricity. And that leads to illegal connections, which then damaged our transformers.
Engutholileke sikunikezwa umhlonishwa wethu council uye wasitshela wasixwayisa ukuthi njengamanje umuntu kudingeka ukuthi ayiyele yena kwaEskom afika utshela uEskom ukuthi ngabe ngibe nenkinga sashawa izulu isigubhu kanjani kodwa mawukuthi uburobhile ugesi kuzomela ukuthi uyikhokhe imali engango 6,000 njengoba bese ngishilo ukuthi umphakathi asisebenzi uzoyikhokha ngani leyo mali 2 bese
I was warned by our ward councillor that what we can do as individual community members is to go to Eskom and raise our concern and even report that maybe our meter was struck by lightning or something of that sort. But if you are found that you had been illegally connected, you'll have to pay an amount of 6,000 rand, which unfortunately, as I've said, our community is mostly unemployed and we don't know how we're going to be able to pay that money.
Bese kuba ukuthi ke njengoba kuukuthi mabethi itransformer ifile ake sithi leyo transformer ifele abantu mhlamba aba 100 labantu aba 100 kuzodinga ukuthi mhlambe bakhiphe u5,000 umuzi nomuzi ngisamile kulo mbuzo ukuthi sizoyikhipha ngani le mali ngoba imali asinayo asisebenzi besicela ukuza ukuthi ningesikhulumele yini noEskom ukuthi iyiphi indlela elula esingenza ngayo ukuthola ugesi ukuze nathi sifane nabakwazi ukuthenga ngendlela abanamandla ngayo.
And also when it comes to the issue of transformers that are damaged, you'll find that we are told that out of a community of 100 people, each household must pay 5,000 rands. And as I said, we are unemployed. How are these people expected to pay that amount of money? We would also like to have electricity like everybody else. So I would like to ask or plead with you to be able to assist us in this regard.
Yeah, bekuyilo nje umbuzo wami bese ngisho ukuthi ngiyanithanda kakhulu bengasijabulisa ukuthi nisifikele emphakathini wakoNongoma kungabe ukuthi mhlasimpe nizokhetha indawo edolobha ngoba abaningi abantu abasuke befisa ukuba seduze kweParliament njengabantu abangogogo, abantu abakhubazekile, abantu abangakhona ukuthi beyiyele ngesimo sawo umsebenzi. Kodwa mangabe niseduze kwethu, siyakwazi ukugcina sithulula konke esisuke sinakho enhlizweni. Ngoba kuyimanje nje ngizofike ngimbikele ukuthi kuthiwe kwathiwa, kodwa ngoba yena akakwazanga ukuthi ayizwele ngezakhe indlebe, akukho njengoba mina ngicabanga, naye akazi ukucabanga ngendlela engicabanga ngayo.
And
Ngiyabonga.
also, I love our parliament very much and I appreciate the fact that you come to see us. But if I may request that you come to areas like Nongoma, which are rural, and not only come to towns, because there are a number of other people, like for example, the elderly and the disabled who would like to participate in these programs, but they cannot. And if we go back to them and report, it might not be the same as when they are actually raising their issues themselves. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Maybe, let me just say that all the inputs that were given here are going to be consolidated into a report.
Asindazisa ukuthi zonke izimvo zeni niyishilo sizoyiqoqa zibe umbiko.
And those that are not directly related to the bill itself will be taken to the relevant committee or structure.
Lokho enikushilo ongaqondene kakhulu nomthetho sivivinywa noma nale committee so lidlulisela kulele committee eliqondene ngqo nalezo zethule benzisho.
Because you find that some of the inputs belong to national parliament, some belong to the provincial parliament, some belong to the municipality, and some belong to different departments.
Oh, zinyi zethula tenzisho ziqondene neparlamente likazwelonke, parliamente lesifundazwe, noma spala bakubo, noma neminyango ehlukahlukene kahulumeni.
So it means each and every input is going to be recorded.
Ngamanye amazwi sithi nokho nalokho enikushilo sikuqophile phansi.
Do we have any announcements?
Sikhona isimemezelo esifuna ukusisho.
Okay, everyone who has got, is it a pink sticker? After we have closed the meeting, you remain seated.
Nina eni nezitika lezi ezipinki siyacela uma sesiqeda umhlangano nihlale phansi nje ninganyakazi.
And with that, those few words, I think the meeting is closed.
Nalawo mazwi amafishane umhlangano wethu siyawuguqisa.